Anthony Hartwig here with Running Wednesday, episode 2 with Coach Rick Sipus. Coach Sipe, man, how we doing today? How we doing for episode 2?
Life is good, Anthony. Nice to have you back.
Yeah, it's great to have you. We always thank you for your time, and this is our first episode where we're going to bring athletes on. We're going to try to do this every week, and we're going to start today's episode with a very, very impressive young female athlete from Lowville. It is Sophia Yon, who joined us, I believe, her freshman or sophomore year, way
Yes.
back in the day, and now here we are getting you back on a couple of years later to talk more about your career. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for having me.
So my first question for you, obviously, is just what's this ride been like? Obviously, we had you on, like I just said, early on in your career, and now here you are, just so decorated, and you've accomplished so much. Talk about kind of the ride that your career has been, and some of the things that you're so proud of that you've been able to accomplish.
Honestly, obviously, it hasn't been easy. Nothing is easy if you want to be successful. You have to put a lot of work in. But it's been super fun. I just feel very blessed by the way everything has worked out. And yeah, it went great. Freshman year, I had really no clue what was going on. Sophomore year was great. Then junior year, I got injured. So that was just like a low point for me, I guess. But it was where I learned the most. So my junior year, I had the worst season I had times wise, at least in the beginning for a while, but it was probably the best season I had mentally, if that makes any sense. Like I was more, I don't know, I grew in every way except physically, basically. And so using that coming into this year, now I'm healthy, it's kind of putting all the pieces together. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what this season brings.
All right, so you're a distance runner, and I know a big part of being a distance runner, whether it's on the track or in cross country, is the mental aspect of it.
Yes.
It's easily one of the more difficult events, the 8 to 16 in your 5Ks. What are some things you like to hear when you're in the face of adversity out there? I know there's hard workouts that you have to go through, or races that are kind of falling apart in a sense. Like, what do you tell yourself when things aren't going your way?
A big thing for me has been positive self-talk, because honestly, I believe, and I've been taught that if you're always looking at the good in things and the positive in things, it usually tends to work out better. Like I just think of like the example of last year going into state in the 800. I was the wild card. I was the 18th seed. Like I didn't feel like I should have been there or not. Like I felt like I should have been there, but it was just like I barely got in, and it had never been like that for me. So mentally that was kind of tough, but I just told myself that week and that day and everything, like I'm going to podium. Even if I didn't like truly believe it, I just kept telling myself that. And you just have to have that positive mindset. And that's what ended up happening. I podiumed. I don't know what happened, but I think it really is just the mindset that changes everything. So whether you're having a good race, a bad race, a good year, bad year, you just always have to have a positive mindset and a good outlook on things, and positive talk to yourself, which was big for me. I struggled with, and still kind of do sometimes, but negative talk, like on myself. It's like I should talk to myself the way that I talk to other people. Like if I wouldn't say it to anyone else, then I shouldn't be thinking that or saying that about myself. Like obviously you could be hard on yourself sometimes. That's how you get better. But yeah, have a positive attitude.
Well, that's great. That's one of I'm sorry, Anthony. It's one of the drums I beat at practice as often as I can. The power. I always say the power of positive thinking goes a long way.
It really, really does. And I learned that last year. So I was grateful for my injury because it taught me that.
You know, we're talking about getting through the mental aspects of adversity, but you've also had to get through physical adversity. You had to get through that injury and get yourself back to 100%. Talk about that journey and some of the things that you went through and some of the ways you were able to get yourself back to 100% healthy this season for your last go round.
I just had to make sure to learn from my mistakes. I just had too much on my plate going from my sophomore year to my junior year, and I didn't know how to do things the right way necessarily, or I did and I just wasn't. I don't really remember, but I learned to listen to my body. I broke two of my metatarsals in my foot during my junior year of cross country, but I had a stress fracture the whole season, and I was running on it the whole season and not really telling anyone or complaining that much, like that my foot was hurting. So it's like that was what happened. That's what led to the worst injury that ended up putting me out for a while, and that it was my fault because I didn't listen to my body how I should have, and I didn't speak up for myself like how I should have. So it taught me, even though it was physical adversity that I had to go through, it really, I feel like, was more mental, all of it, because you feel like after you're out for so long, you're just doing PT or cross training, you feel like, can I still run? Can I still do it? Did I lose what I had? And all that kind of stuff that you have to go through and work through. So yeah, the physical and mental, it was more mental, but the physical went by fast. It was like I healed up pretty quick, but it was just having to get myself back into the shape that I was in before. That was the most difficult part. And your mentality while you're doing that, it's kind of hard to stay positive, because when you go from running your best times ever to barely able to run anymore, I was state last year in the 800, I was doing 8 miles a week because I couldn't, I just had no endurance. I was not in the kind of shape that I used to be. So it's like getting my head around that was hard. But physically, you could do anything that you set your mind to once you have a positive attitude. So the physical adversity isn't as big of a deal in my eyes, at least.
So if you've been really successful for pretty much your entire career, I'm one of the meet managers for the Spartan Invitational and the regional over here. And
okay.
Whenever I talk to Coach Pav, I always say, here comes the big three in D3 with you, Kaylee, and Rachel there. So it's always fun to watch you guys compete against each other. What's the best piece of advice that you could give to a young distance runner? You're a standout in the area. Like, I'm sure there's young distance runners that look up to you at this point. Like, what's some advice that you would give to them?
I know I've been going a lot this route so far, but believe in yourself, because that was my biggest problem. Even when I was my sophomore year was my best year so far of track, and that year was the most miserable for me because even though I was running those great times, I didn't feel like I was doing good, and so I didn't enjoy the sport as much. So yeah, you just have to believe in yourself. You could do whatever you put your mind to. You set a goal and you work towards it, and if you keep that goal in mind and you always work towards that goal, it will happen. Keep your positive talk. Yeah, I don't know what else. Yeah, I think that's
good stuff.
So, senior year can bring a lot of emotions. It's the last time you're doing a lot of stuff. What have you been doing to deal with the emotions of senior year? How have you been handling that?
It hasn't been too bad for me yet. I'm saying that now, but probably next week or whatever, when school's letting out, then I'm going to be pretty upset. But I'm just kind of excited for the next chapter of my life and to see what comes with that and what that brings and what I can do on the next level. I'm just grateful for everything that did happen and the whole high school career and all the memories and experiences I've had throughout high school. I'm just grateful that it happened and I can look back on it and be happy with it. I have a lot of fun memories here at Lowville on the track, through all my different sports and activities. It's just a lot of fun. So I'm sad that it's over, but I'm more excited that I have more to come.
Let's talk about your training a little bit, Soph.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite workout and your most favorite workout to do?
Okay. Is this going like for all sports, like for
Yeah,
cross country and track, or
let's talk track. So
okay,
you got to get some speed in there for the 800. I mean,
yeah,
even the mile, they're all fast now. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I know there's broken eights or split fours, tempo
My
runs. What's
favorite.
your favorite and least favorite?
Sorry, I thought you stopped talking. It like cut out, so I didn't know you were still going.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry. My least favorite. I don't know if I have a least favorite. My favorite is speed days. I like speed days a lot. I usually do like my least favorite. Okay, I do have one. Tempo runs.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
my favorite is repeats, especially like the short ones, like 2s, 4s. I like doing the speed work. So yeah.
Absolutely.
It took her a minute, but she found that least favorite one.
Yes, I had to think about it for a second, but
It popped up.
yeah.
So you talked about next level and going to the next chapter of your life. For those people that maybe not know, maybe they're watching you for the first time or they're tuning into this, don't want to take away your thunder. Why don't you let people know where you'll be spending your next 4 years after high school running track?
Okay. I'll be running track and cross country for Purdue University in Indiana. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. They recruited me my junior year. Oops. Sorry, I don't know if that's coming through on your thing. It was the announcements. But yeah, Purdue University for track and cross country. And I'm just really excited about it.
Going to be a Boilermaker in the Big Ten.
I'm so
What was
excited.
it about Purdue, the campus, the coaches, the program that made you decide that was where you wanted to call home?
Actually, I could still remember like the moment I kind of realized that's where I was supposed to be. And it wasn't when like they sent the recruitment letter and stuff, and I didn't know too much about Purdue. I was really excited, obviously, but I still had it was early in my junior year, so I wasn't really thinking too much about where I wanted to go. But we were going through, my mom and I were going through a list. We made a list of everything I wanted out of a college, just academically. And the only college that checked off every single box was Purdue. So we're like, wow, like I wanted to go there academically. And the fact that they wanted me on their athletic teams was just like a bonus. Like, yeah, sure, sign me up. Like, I'm excited about that part.
When you talk about academically, what career path are you going to be using Purdue to go into?
Engineering. They don't make you choose until your sophomore year, like what way you want to go, but I'm thinking industrial. So I like math a lot. So.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Hey, so do you have any big time meet day superstitions or pre-meet meals that you have to have, or a post-meet meal?
Yeah.
Anything secretive for your success?
I always have to wear my hair the same. I don't know if that counts, but I always have to have it in a ponytail and a braid, and I braid it 1 hour before. Not that it makes a difference, but I just always do, part of my routine. Eating wise, I always just have like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm a puker. I throw up after I run. So I just have been trying to figure out what works best for me. So that I don't get sick in between my races. But usually it's mashed potatoes. So usually I'll do mashed potatoes like 3-4 hours before and I'll be fine. But this year, for some reason, I've been throwing that up like every time. So I might have to find something new. So yeah, peanut butter and jelly has been working okay this year. So
I don't know if you know this, but when they take people up in the fighter pilots, they tell them to eat peanut butter before because it's not that bad coming up because you're gonna puke in the airplanes going to those speeds. So maybe you're onto something with peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe that's what it is.
So one of the last things I want to ask you is about your support system, your role models, the people that have always been there for you, the people you look up to. Want to give you the time to kind of shout those people out and kind of give them their flowers and take the spotlight off of yourself for a second and turn it on them.
Okay, last time I was on here, I got made fun of so bad because I said my mom and then I just blanked out and I said the community, so I completely forgot just the rest of my family. So I could redeem myself now. But my mom definitely she coaches me through everything. So she's been a huge supporter, got me to the point. She's the one that got me to the point where I am now. My brothers and my dad and my grandparents, and they are just like the best support system I could ask for. My brothers are both, Nathan Jan is in high school, and then Steven is in junior high. But all of us work out together. So, and Steven's actually kind of around where I am, fitness wise. So it helps out a lot. We help each other, and it's just fun being able to do it with them. And obviously the community, again, like I said last time, but the whole village, just the whole running community, like Lowville's community, everybody has just been super supportive, and I can't thank anybody enough for where I am now. So
Redemption for Sophia.
yes.
Got it. Nailed it. So if we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it. You are the debut interview on Running Wednesdays. We thank you so much, and we're honored. Good luck the rest of your senior season, and also good luck at Purdue. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. I also forgot to say thank you to my coaches. So I would have got made fun of for that too. I caught it before you let me go. Okay. My coach Lisa and my coach Eric. Thank you to them too. So thank you for having me.
You got it, Soph.
Thanks, Soph. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sophia Jan from Lowville. Coach, you've said in that interview, you know her pretty well. You know what it's like when she's coming to town. And then you look at where she's able to land in her future. You not too many athletes get to go Power 5 D1 out of the YSN family. Very few. And she's going to be one of them. Purdue in the Big Ten to run for the Boilermakers. How cool is that?
Yeah, she's an elite talent, man. She, like I said, I've known who she was since her freshman year here, and she was always been a standout in the area. Just this past weekend at the Mahoning County Championship, she was first in the 800, first in the 3200, and first in the 1600. So we're talking about a special kid right there. She's going to do good things over there at Purdue. Top level competition. I mean, I'm excited to see how much she actually grows when she gets out there too.
She's obviously one of the premier distance runners. So I want you to take the time to just kind of break down for our, casual track fans, what it means to be a really good distance runner and what it kind of takes to train for distance and what it takes to be elite at distance running.
Well, if you look at any of the results over the past 20 years here, what you're going to find out is that everything is just getting faster. The 800, I mean, our training group for the 400 and the 800 is a half mile, and we call that a long sprint group. Even the 1500, and at the collegiate level, they're doing that in like essentially sprint spikes. Equipment's getting better, training's getting better. People are just getting bigger, faster, and stronger. So we're just going to continue to see these things getting faster and faster and faster and faster. Over the weekend, I just saw a 17-year-old running a 9:89 in the 100. I mean, humanity's not getting slower. We're just getting faster. So to be accomplished in all of those events, I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, it's like the 800 is one of the hardest high school events too. And for her to, like for Sophia in this example, to go from a wild card to the state podium, it's a pretty phenomenal accomplishment for her. So that's kudos to her for being so solid in those events over her entire career here. I mean, not only is she successful now, but she's had longevity with it too.
No one better to lead off the interview section of Running Wednesdays than Sophia Jan, one of the best that we have in the YSN family. And that whole Lowville running program, we've talked about Michael Balone last week and what he's doing for Lowville. They're all running really well for the Rockets. And they Sophia shouted out their coaching staff. Obviously, the coaches over there are doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, like I said last week, I was excited to see the matchup between South Range and Lowville for the county championships in the small division. And South Range actually came out on top in both the boys and girls divisions. Both Lowville, like Balone and Yon, got their points where they could, but South Range just picked them apart across the board with throwing events, distance events. They were right there on their heels in the sprint events. So, I mean, kudos to like I said, both South Range and Lowville for putting on a show last weekend. It was a lot of fun to watch as we were out there coaching our own team at the same time. So I mean,
That's why I think track is like wrestling. We just had the whole season of Wrestling Wednesdays during the winter, and wrestling is a sport where you have to get points in every weight category to get the win in a duel. I think track meets are the same way. Like you could have the best runner on the field, but at the same time, if the other team has a better spread out team, they could win the meet as a team. You could have the best runner there and have her or him win all the events that they're in, but at the same time, they can only get so many points.
Yeah, exactly. Like you only get a 4 event max, and
Right.
even if you win 4 events, that's 40 points for your team in a big invitational. The winning team scored 100 and the Fitch girls were the champions. They scored 160. So if Anthony gets his 40 points, you have to
Right.
account for 120 points from the rest of your team as well.
Right.
So you could have the best runner in the entire state, but that's only going to get you about a quarter of the way there. So it's about balance. It's about getting your first runner across high and keeping your second runners or second competitors right on their heels as well. So it's not always about the best athletes carrying their teams to victories. It's about balance as a team in these cases.
Yeah, and as we talk, we're starting to get our feet wet a little bit in the results from the week before. Let's go into dive into the results and all the great performances that we had in the last week since we last talked, and some of the big results that came in.
Yeah, the two big meets last weekend locally were the Mahoney County Championships, and that's divided up into two divisions. In the boys division, the Boardman boys were the champions over Austintown Fitch. It was the first time in 14 years someone other than Austintown Fitch won that meet. So it was a pretty cool thing to see how excited Coach Phillips was when the boys pulled that off there on Saturday. On the girls' side, Austintown they squeaked past us 160 to 156. So they got us by 4 points there on Saturday. And then in the small divisions, like I said, the South Range girls and boys were both the big winners over the weekend there. The other big meet that happened over the weekend was the Lakeview Invitational, and this was a meet with a lot of teams with balance with them. The McDonald girls ran away with it, and then the Lakeview boys also ran away with it. So the Lakeview boys won their own meet. And looking over the results from the meet, you saw that there were just a lot of balanced performances from both the McDonald girls and the Lakeview boys. What's in Landon Hall put on a show in the hurdle events there. The Bundys, they did a great job in the throwing events for the McDonald girls there. Simpson from Niles, she put on a show in the sprint events. And then, like I said, I knew the boys' sprints were going to be very good there between the Liberty Leopards, the Streetsboro Rockets, and the Lakeview Bulldogs. And like I said, those three teams battled it out all day, but Lakeview was the team that eventually won the whole thing on the boys' side there. That Christian Davis kid's tough from Brookfield. He put out his first FAT marks in the 400 there. And then I think then, like I said, it was just a battle in all the sprint relays there. Niles took home a couple of them, and then the Liberty Leopards took home the 4x1 and the 4x2. So there was a lot of good track locally over the weekend. Like I said, the Mahoney County Championships were exciting. A lot of big performances were there. The meet MVPs at the Mahoney County Championships on the boys' side was Aiden Berg from Boardman, and then Mackenzie Riccatelli on the girls' side. In the smaller divisions, Balone and Charlie Reigert from South Range were the co-MVPs because they scored the same amount of points. And then the Ava Vecchione from Springfield she won 4 events, and she was the girls' MVP in the Mahoney County Championships last week. So like a lot of really good things happened out there. Like I said, a lot of good track. It was a little windy, a little chilly, but some of the times are still starting to bleed, and you're going to start seeing some people start to cook. So we're excited to see where this goes over the next few weeks.
As the Boardman represent Niven, the coach down there at Boardman, what was it like to see Aiden and Mackenzie both get MVP and represent both boys and girls track and field for Boardman very, very well down there at the Mahoning County meet?
The individual accomplishments are always fun in those meets, but you want to take home the hardware as a team. Like I said, we missed the sweep by 4 points, or Austintown missed the sweep by several points on the boys' side there. So it could go either way in those meets. And anytime you have a big meet, you're going to end up seeing some kids overperform, some kids underperform, and like you're gonna have to find out who got it, who's gonna pick you up in the middle there. So, like I said, the Austin Town girls, hats off to them. They had a great meet, and they ended up with the championship there. But like I say, Kenzie and Aiden, they work their tails off every day for me. We're getting down to like the technical work with them right now to make sure that they're running faster with all the strength that they can in these workouts. So I'm really looking forward to see how things go for them. Like I said, over the next month here. I mean, time is limited. You're only guaranteed 4 more weeks of track at this point in time, especially as a D1 representative school. It doesn't get easy for us at any point during the season.
When you talk about the Fitch girls who won, what are some of the events that they're a lead in? What were some of the difference makers that Fitch was able to go and win? What are some things that they excel at?
Fitch is always, I mean, their hurdles right now, they're at a premium. I was really hoping that we could put the meet together and score it separately if we're going to do 2 divisions, because seeing Stallings and Kaysen run against Mike Malone would have been pretty fun to see on Saturday there. Fitch hurdles right now, and sprints, they're just fantastic. I think they're the best sprint program in the entire area. And tip the cap to them. They always have somebody that's going to be very good. Both 4x1s from Austintown, the boys and the girls. The girls 4x1 is what are they at? They're 6th in the region. The boys 4x1 currently is 5th in the region. So I mean, there's an opportunity for both of those crews to get down to state. Deani Thompson, I feel like she's been in high school for about 105 years. She's one of the best around. She put together a really good race in the hurdles. And Megan Vadas, if I'm a name butcher, I apologize there, but she's one of the best pole vaulters in the area. I'm hoping to see her get up on the state podium this year too. So I mean, it's nice to see all them go. I mean, they do such a good job over there. I mean, anytime we go up against Austintown, I know we're going to bring our best, or we're going to end up getting embarrassed by them.
All right, now that we've gone over the recap of the week, let's go over what's going to be happening this week, or what are some of the big meets that you're keeping an eye on, and some of the big opportunities that these teams have to obviously put their name in the limelight again.
This weekend locally is the Poland Classic. You're going to see the majority of our local teams over there. Girard's going to be there. McDonald, Lakeview, West Branch, South Range, and Lowville get to go round 2 this weekend. And then the Salem teams are going to be over there. So there's going to be some heavyweights among the local competition over there. I'm really interested to see what the Lakeview hurdlers are going to do against the Lowville hurdlers, and then all those distance events in there as well. So South Range is going to have to mix it up with the Salem crew as well as McDonald. So it's going to be interesting. I think the Salem girls are going to be the favorite for the meet, and South Range, man, those boys put on a show last weekend. I think they might be the favorites to win the boys' side over there this upcoming weekend. We are traveling. Go ahead, Coach.
I know Moorfield for South Range had a big weekend, so they're really putting together a very good season. They've had great runners for years and years and years.
Yeah, they do. They put on a good show last weekend. Moorfield had a nice 200. He's in the relays there. I'd like to see some more of him racing this weekend. I'd like to see how he stacks up. I believe Warren Harding's going to be there this weekend too. So see how those guys stack up against the Harding sprinters and the Harding jumpers this upcoming weekend here. And then out of town meets that are big this weekend. Avon hosts a big invitational. I believe Austintown's going there. On Friday night, we're going up to Baldwin Wallace for the Berea Titan relays as well. So we're going to run on that Mondo surface to see if we can set some new PRs this weekend as well. So there's a lot of good action this weekend. Again, I'll be all over seeing how things are going to shake out here. So it should be pretty fun. I went over like the regional lists right now. We have so many good competitors in the area. I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. You and I are going to be talking all the way into June about how our kids are performing in this area. So
that's really what we like to see.
The stuff goes. Yeah. I mean, across the board, we're represented in pretty much every single event that you can think of in one of the divisions. And like I said, I really think that we have some teams that are going to make some noise potentially winning some regionals, and then getting a lot of kids on the state podiums as well.
What is it like for you as a coach to look at that and see the area so well represented, and to be able to be a part of an area that is obviously so good at this sport?
I mean, I think people really sleep on the Mahoning Valley a lot. I mean, I know the population is dropping. However, we still put out a quality product. I'm going to echo what I said last week. There is very, very good track and field coaches as well as cross country coaches in this particular area. Um, you'll see state champions. Like I said, we saw a state champion in D3 girls cross country this year from a local school. Like I said, I told Sophia they're the big three. Her, Kaylee Richards, and Geist down there from Heartland Christian. Salem's girls put on a show every year. Like I said, Awesome Town, they are our rivals, but I respect the heck out of everything they do over there. They do a great job. And then across the board, there are top 4 competitors in the state levels from Brookfield, Lowville, Columbiana, Springfield, McDonald. I mean, I can go across the board right now, and you're going to see a lot of good competitors. I mean, it gets me excited to talk about this stuff because, like I said, I'm one of those. You might be from Youngstown if you take a lot of pride in this type. I'm one of those people right there. I take pride in the area. I do like to compete against everybody, and I do like to win when we are head to head. But once that postseason starts, I put a hat on for every other team, whether they're one of our rivals or not. I want to see these kids do good things.
It's got to be a great opportunity to compete against some of the best in the state and not have to go too far to do it.
Not to be cliche, but iron sharpens iron, right?
And
So anytime you get that opportunity, you got to put your best foot forward and see what you can do. Because, like I said, at the end of the season, 4 people get to advance from the district final, 4 people get to advance from the regional. I mean, you want to be able to beat these people, and if you're not able to, you're going home, and that's the end of it right there.
Hey, there's a reason cliches exist. It's because at some point they worked really well, right?
Yeah, just because
it's overused.
Just because it's a cliche doesn't make it untrue. So.
Right, this makes it overused. That's all.
Exactly.
All right, Coach. That'll wrap up episode 2 of Running Wednesdays. Man, we want to thank Sophia Yon for joining us and giving us her time. Of course, we are such big fans of hers, and we can't wait to continue interviewing athletes around the area as we continue into episode 3 and beyond. Next week, Coach, we will see you again next week. We thank you again for your time, and we look forward to having you right back.
My pleasure, Anthony. Have a good one. We'll be back at it next week.